Hey guys, looks like hey guys, what's going on? We are live. Sorry about the delay. We had a quick technical difficulty there. I started talking for a while and got a notice that we were not live. So I guess that was just a practice run, if you want to call it that. Really, two really cool things that we're going to be going over today on this live. First, we're going to address the economy and how it's affecting mobile home park investors right now. The first part's going to be really great because we're going to I'm going to give you some insights on what my students and I are seeing in the market since we're out there looking at deals and putting in offers every single day. Even after that, I'm away for a spot in my coaching program, which is huge. This giveaway is something that I've been promoting and talking about over the past week. And if you didn't get the chance to see it, I apologize because the entrance is closed. But I'm super excited to give this spot away, though, because I know whoever gets it is going to have a huge opportunity to change their life, because all it takes is one deal. And that's my goal in the program, is to get that first deal done for somebody so that they can take it and run with it. And let's dive into basically what's going on in the state of the economy and how it's affecting mobile home parks right now. Again, thank you for your patience. It did take a second for the live stream to kick in. We were having some technical difficulties. So first, I want to talk a little bit more about what's going on. So even if you haven't seen it in the news, you can at least be up to date. Real quick, I want to run through a bunch of facts, and then I'll kind of tie it back to how it affects the mobile home park space. I've made a bunch of notes here, and I hope that this makes a lot of difference for you and benefits you big time. Housing starts are down, but building permits are up. This means that developers aren't getting as many projects started, which is an indication, of them potentially struggling to get down payments on new projects and, applications and deposits from buyers. This means that this basically means that they may not be starting as many as they originally thought. And this can obviously be affected by things like weather or other factors, but it's noticeable enough to mention. Okay, we have to pay attention to what's going around in the market and how it's going to affect both consumers, but also us as investors. Even though starts are down, building permits are up, which means that developers are planning on doing more projects in the future, but haven't started them yet. So overall, this is kind of giving mixed signals as to what's really going on. It's hard to really see what's going on behind the scenes. But what I think is most likely happening is that a lot of developers are nervous about rate hikes, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But at the same time, they still have enough belief or maybe even hope that everything will clear up as soon as, things change and the market is going to boom again. And that may be warranted, or it may just be wishful thinking because they've got a lot of money invested, and that can be, problematic if it doesn't go the direction that they expect. The Fed's been slowly increasing rates since really March of 2022 to try and handle inflation and what they really thought was too high. And we'll basically see what happens here. But by increasing the rates, the hope was that inflation would slow, but it ended up being a much bigger problem than the Fed thought. This resulted in a lot more rate increases than most people expected, which created a lot of strain on the potential buying power of consumers. We got to remember that these economists, these bankers, they only know so much. They might want to play God and, but ultimately they've really only got a few levers that they can pull. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And if you think about it, if they overshoot or undershoot, it can have very different results than what they expected. That means it's really harder to buy houses with higher interest rates, utilize credit, and get loans for their consumer purchases. Go to the bank and refinance along with a lot of other potential struggles. This brings us to our third point of discussion, which is really inflation. I'm sure you've seen all over the news that inflation is high. You've probably even noticed it at the grocery stores where prices have nearly doubled in some cases, like think about eggs, right? The price increases in all of these goods are why the Fed continues to increase rates. The hope is that increased rates will slow spending and stabilize the cost of consumer goods. While it has slowed, there are still concerns that maybe the Fed tried to tamper inflation too much and could potentially cause an accidental recession. Some people are already saying we're technically in a recession, depending on what metrics you're looking at. But of course, that's always up for debate, and no one really knows what's going to happen. There are three very important points to consider when looking at the economy and how it affects the mobile home park industry. Quick note here, there are a million other things to consider when talking about the economy, but I think that these 3 points are the highest level things we can talk about to really get a feel for what's going on in the market. So don't just base your decision on my opinions here and my thoughts. Do your own research, of course, but I would say this is really a great place to start. Now that we've talked about the points and established a baseline for what's really happening, let's tie it all into the mobile home park industry. Let's see here. Harder to get loans, obviously, since interest rates are so high and banks are nervous about potential recession. They've tightened their lending processes. This means that a lot of investors are having a hard time getting loans for their deals, especially at prices that previously made sense. And we're starting to see that a lot. There's a lot of disconnect in the market. Sellers want prices that don't make sense, basically with rates as high as they are. And another issue we're seeing is that a lot of sellers are still asking those same prices they wanted before the rate increases. When interest rates increase like they have, investors aren't able to pay as much for properties because the cash flow that they get after covering their debt payments is practically nothing. I mean, I've seen a lot of deals lately where if I could have bought that property at a 4% interest rate, it would have been phenomenal. But now at 8, 9% interest rate quotes, just doesn't make sense anymore. And that's why most properties sell for less once rate. So basically, that's why most properties sell for less once rate increases are higher. And we're seeing that in the real world right now. But sometimes sellers don't want to acknowledge this, and they think that someone will come in and pay, whatever they want. And what we've got to realize is that when things change, so do, like interest rates and lending policy, so do values. And it's just taking a while for sellers to recognize that. This causes problems for us because they don't have realistic expectations. That means taking more time for us to get on the same page when it comes to asset prices. So again, there's like this disconnect, and we're trying to bridge that gap. Also, tenants might be feeling the effects. Another concern is that with inflation and interest rates so high, consumer income, especially in lower income households, is strained even more than it was before. So we've got people who don't make a lot of money having more expenses just pulling on their income strings. This raises concerns for us as property owners because, there might be issues where tenants can't pay their rent and we're forced to do more evictions. And that's a real issue across real estate. It's not just in apartments or mobile home parks in general. We may see more evictions ticking up in the future. Since mobile home parks are really affordable, it's not as much of a concern, but it's always something that we need to look out for. We need to be aware of. There is risk in every business, no matter what you're doing. But let's talk about the positives of all this. Affordable housing is becoming more in demand, which is really what we're We are having some technical difficulties. And so what I'd like to do, we're having some technical here, guys. It looks like it's just a crappy internet kind of day. So what I'd like to do is just cut short on the economy stuff and really just tell you that as a mobile home park investor, we're able to take advantage of the rougher markets and rougher economy. And I anticipate our communities to stay full. Even if we have some evictions going on and things like that, we're still going to be able to infill our communities with a lot of demand for affordable housing. Okay. I think that right now is the absolute best time to be buying mobile home parks. And in the coming months, we're probably going to see more motivation from sellers who maybe overpaid in the past. And we are going to be able to take advantage of that. So with no further ado, what I'd like to do is I'd like to have Kyle give me our winner for the, let's see here. Kyle, I'd like to have you give us the winner of the coaching program, just in case the feed drops again. I want to be able to announce this and make sure that we get to celebrate the winner of this giveaway. As you guys know, the giveaway is for a 1-year coaching program. There's a full-out course on how to buy mobile home parks from start to finish. Everything that you would need to know how to do it is there, but in addition to that, it's weekly calls with me personally, looking at your deals with you, doing deal reviews, doing live, Q&As with them every single week. On top of that, potentially partnering with me on deals. We've got all the tools that an investor needs, including, templates and lender referrals and everything. So what I'd like to do is go with the announcement here. Oh, wow. Awesome. Kyle just sent me a text. The winner of the free 1 year's worth of coaching goes to Joe Staymeyer. Joe, congratulations. Kyle's going to be reaching out to you. He's going to be setting up a call, a one-on-one kickoff call with me, which I'm super excited about. We'll dive into everything that you've got going on. And from there, we'll get you kickstarted into the training platform, the coaching calls and everything. And I'm really excited to work with you. So Joe Staymeyer, definitely expect a call from Kyle today to get that scheduled. Thank you all for being a part of this. And this is what I want to tell you before you hop off. I'm making it super valuable for everybody who signed up for the giveaway of, whether you won or not. Don't worry about that. I've actually got a free training that I'm going to be doing with everybody who registered on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be doing a private training where I'll be covering how to make money with mobile home park investing. And, I'm going to make sure that I spend plenty of time with you guys one-on-one, or as a group, I should say, doing Q&A live as well on Tuesday. So watch for an email on Monday for the link, and we're going to be doing it on Zoom, so we won't have any technical difficulties there. And I'm going to make sure that it's a very valuable training for all of you. So thank you again for participating. Congratulations, Joe Staymeyer, and welcome to the crew. We're going to do some deals together. I'm excited about it. Have a great day, guys. Congratulations, Joe, and thank you again for participating, guys.